So where we left off on the previous session, you had in your sort of two parts of the group been handed assignments. On the one side, the scion of the emperor, one of the representatives, asked you to travel to this region known as Sundlasta, and in particular to go to a town there called Denmaryk, that there had been unusual activities there, disappearances, some strange things had occurred in the area, and there was some concern because there was a monastery that had been put to the torch that had passed on several years ago. And there have been reports that part of the reason that it had collapsed had been that the Diabolist had had a hand in it. So the Emperor wants to make sure that the Diabolist is not working affairs there or has some plot going on there, and three of you were tasked to do that. The other two spoke with a representative of the Prince of Shadows, who apparently knew of the mission that your colleagues have been asked, and wanted you to go to an estate that had been abandoned there, and to locate a certain magical item and return that to the Prince of Shadows. The Yester estate is what it was called, and it is a thing called the Ring of Solace. And essentially the Prince of Shadows said, certainly your other mission comes first, but you can certainly rope your colleagues into assisting you on checking that afterwards. The assumption being we did all the sort of relationship mapping and discussion with the group, and we know that you have all worked together, had some encounters, and I will flip over very quickly to the map of the Empire to remind you where we're at on Roll20, and you can see that you've headed essentially across Torrhen's Glory and made your way across the hills, past the Hammer Falls, up into these ice-clad mountains that run up in this area up here. On the way, you traveled, you found yourselves at an inn, the Fellwind Inn, and you attempted to secure drink and lodgings for the evening, but there were a group of people who clearly were up to nefarious ends, seemed to be waiting on an ambush for someone else. You took it upon yourselves when they started to draw a blade to engage them, and you fought and defeated them. I don't want to say handily, but pretty well. Some of you were uninjured, others less so. John. And you were able to defeat them. You kept one alive. You found out that they were essentially bandits that apparently are somehow connected to the Diabolist, that they were put here to ambush, that the innkeep was in cahoots with them. You spoke to the innkeeper and made it clear that if he tried anything like this again, that it would be very bad for him. And you were able to meet with the travelers who they were clearly here to ambush. It was a small caravan, a couple of guardsmen, and some sort of officer traveling with some goods, clearly coming from Denmaryk. And you spoke with a gentleman by the name of Restier. You explained the situation to him. He seemed very relieved. He mentioned that it was a little unusual to have bandits around here. And he also wrote you a letter, essentially, for his household in Sunlasta, for you to have a place to stay there. Have I missed anything important?
I don't believe so.
All
his
right.
household in Denmaryk, you mean?
His household in Denmaryk. By the way, I'm going to keep doing Sunlasta and Denmaryk backwards, even though they're completely different names.
That's okay. Mm-hmm.
and so you were able to stay the evening. Not a comfortable stay here in the inn, just because of the sort of the tension. So no full rest there. But the next day you set out and traveled. It's not particularly blizzardy here, but it is sort of consistently light snow. Sometimes that obscures your vision. The road can be is marked with wooden pillars, marking, usually with sort of a tattered banner on them, so you're able to see those a ways in the distance. Not particularly well traveled, so that you still are breaking new snow as you move through here. Mostly it is cold, and the your footfalls are somewhat treacherous, given that you are moving up and down through mountainous areas. Not Lord of the Rings on the snow side treacherous, but kind of bad. So let me ask you just a quick question before we move on. If you were to make, say, survival checks in this area, what kind of background would you use? This is for no reason, just want to check for future reference here. John, what would you think would apply for you?
For me, I would probably fall back on my soldiering background, so I would probably either do In the Fallen Iron Myrmidon or My Life on the Road.
Okay. What about you, Winterthorn?
The treasure hunter of the Dwarf King background would be the one.
Absolutely. Okay. And how about William Tallfoot?
Yeah, right. He would use the. I sure hope there's someone I can steal all their stuff from to keep me warm.
So you're a little low on that, then, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. What's your con bonus?
+2.
Oh, so that's not terrible. And Shakan?
Well, the Midland Sea Islands are not snowy in any way.
Mm-hmm.
They're sort of warm and sunny and all those kind of pleasant ocean island things. And so I don't really have a suitable background for trekking in cold and snow, but because I have been working for, been employed recently,
Mm-hmm.
I've just equipped myself for cold travel when we got the job. I went, well, I'm going to need to buy some clothes, and hopefully that will help. So I'm just getting by on my con bonus, essentially.
All right. So supplied yourself and hoping that your native talents will see you through.
I'll just have to see how we go, because being a guy who organises parties and wins competitions of song and comes from a subtropical island, snow is not my favourite thing.
That is more than reasonable.
And Lowell, Micah would be keeping an eye on the other guys just because of the way he is, just to make sure that, if they do start showing signs of exposure or something like that, he would help them out, even stop them, and start a fire, whatever. So,
Okay.
keep them going.
Well, and wouldn't it potentially be that between, I guess, Micah and Winter, we might have helped prepare the party and have them dress warmer, or something like this?
So no one is in their skivvies. Yes.
Oh yes, I would imagine we'd have prepared for the trip considerably, and that was part of the montage at the beginning.
Yes.
Sure, I can just picture Winter in the store pulling out furs and holding them up to Shakon's face, saying, "This will suit you very well in your performances. Come on, darling."
As he's picking out silk shirts, and we're like,
Yeah.
no.
So, Winter's handing them to Micah to put back, and we'll bring it up again.
So some of you still have the tags
I have all
on.
my silk shirts already because I've already had expensive clothing on my equipment list. But it's the buying the extra standard travelling gear for cold weather, that kind of thing.
And you were given some upfront pay, So certainly, we'll assume that all of those basic necessities have been taken care of.
I'd have thought so.
So we're going to cut forward to the group probably about mid-afternoon, the travel from the inn, coming up a rise and crossing over. The road around here has been a little bit more clear, more travel, animal and human, and you will come, and in the distance you will see the city town, really, of Denmaryk, and it is sort of midway up a mountain. You can see that the town itself has a couple of levels to it. Older buildings, looks like a combination of wood and stone throughout here. There are stairs and in some cases sort of rope guides for moving up and about. It looks like a sort of a more sort of longhouse style. There's some wooden roofs and some thatched roofs. You will see that one of the sort of common decorations is wooden kind of carved totems that are around and about the village. Don't look like they're painted, but certainly they are. They do look to be resin coated and treated to keep them in good shape. The more interesting thing is the town itself. There seems to be a smallish runoff lake from the mountain runoff, and then the edge of that comes to kind of a cliff edge that is sort of towards the middle lower part of town. You can see that it is actually partially frozen over. It's not very big, but you can also see that there's definitely steam coming off in a couple of places, which suggests to you that there are some steam vents or some springs from the mountain that heat that, but still a little bit frozen over. It looks like there's a good-sized road that continues on and sort of down into the valley proper, and you can see probably in the distance a couple of smaller sort of household settlements. There are a lot of different valleys and things around here, sort of a mix of green and snow. You guess that this is probably sort of the center hub point for a network of estates and households. The other interesting thing you will note is that it does look like there's ladders and stairs and so on quite a ways up above the town that go up to almost looks like there might be a cave or a mine above the town as well. And as you approach, you're a somewhat odd looking crew, somewhat maybe an understatement, and you will see some people catch sight of you in the distance. You're not wearing clothing of style they recognize, and there will be a kind of a hubbub. And as you are kind of coming down the last pass to here, you will see it looks like a couple people have gone and gotten somebody who looks vaguely official. You see he has a great woolen long coat on and a very tight cut solid black beard, and he will come walking up towards where you are. You see he has a blade at his side. While he doesn't have any kind of badge, he has that air of an official to him. And you will note that he has a very sort of stark look to him, the black woolen coat, stark white shirt, but he has a necklace around his neck that almost looks like a charm bracelet, all kinds of little bits and things attached to it that seem to jangle as he walks along. And he will look to you, get about a goodly distance away, and he will say, "Hail, travelers."
Hello. My name is Shakon the Bronze.
Ah.
And my companions and I are traveling to Denmaryk,
Well
which
then.
I believe is this town.
Yes, you have reached Denmaryk. And he kind of looks and he says, "Are you huntsmen or adventurers or what?"
We are travelers to this area, and I have a letter of introduction from Restir.
And he will step forward and he will say, "My name is Quiets."
Quiet. Pleased to meet you, Quiet.
Yeah, and he will reach out his hand to you, and he kind of looks. You see him. His gaze probably stops when he sees William Tallfoot, and there is a bit there of him maybe making a more assessing glance of him, and then he notes the horns on Winter and the sort of the looming shape of Micah. And you've got sort of the very pleasant bard, handsome, standing in front of this fairly intimidating group.
That's why I'm doing the talking.
Yeah. he'll look at the letter and he'll say, yes.
Yes, we encountered Restir at the just a moment, the Fellwind Inn. And he wrote us this letter of introduction since we were coming this way. Charming man.
Oh, it says bandits?
There were bandits. We still... did we bring our captive with us, or did we leave him with Restir?
I think you left him with Restir, because he was going to take him on.
Good. Easy.
I say, well...
So yes, there were some bandits, and we dealt with them.
Well, let me lead you to Restir's stead, if you will permit me.
That would be very, very helpful of you.
Maybe perhaps later, if you are staying sometime, you permit me to come and speak with you about these bandits so that I might learn what is the situation?
Of course.
And
that would be just fine. Do you have what? Are you the head? Are you the mayor?
Oh no! I am certainly not the head man. I am the watchman. I'm merely to keep an eye on the village and the security here, the town. It's small enough that we call it village. It's big enough that it used to be a town. So you'll hear me say those both. And your companions, he'll look and sort of asking for an introduction.
I introduce everyone to Quiets. This is William Tallfoot, a friend of mine from Axis, Winterthorn. I am Shakon, of course, Micah Greyhelm, and Irondel Starfire.
Who's strangely silent through all of this.
Yes, she can be that. That's all right.
And he'll say, all right, well, if you need anything...
And we are traveling to this area for our own reasons.
It is your business, but if you need anything, he will lead you on, and you will see you guys get a lot of strange looks as you go through here. You are kind of in backcountry, and you do know that it's not that far over the mountains and things where the orcs lie. So William probably gets more than a few glances.
Under normal circumstances, I'll keep my hood up and hold my head down and try not to bring attention to myself.
All right, that seems fair. You can see in the town that there are some unused buildings, like the town might have been more populous before. It actually looks like there's maybe a temple that's kind of in disrepair. It does look like there's definitely a tavern, as you would expect. and that sort of carved wood and carved stone seems to be the motif of decorations around here, a more a primitive style to that. And if you'll imagine, it's very sort of civilized Skyrim in some ways, with the leathers and furs and so on.
You said the temple was unused at the moment, or looked. Did you say it was abandoned, or
It looks like it's in disrepair.
disrepair? That's the word I heard.
And in fact, because you kind of take a closer look at it, it's fairly small. You would guess it hasn't been used in some time. And quiets will lead you on to a household, just sort of at the edge of town, and he will knock, and a servant will come to the door. You'll see this young woman who looks a little ragged. Will answer. Quiet says for her to go and fetch the woman of the household. To answer your question, Winterthorn, no, you're not sure, and there wasn't any obvious markings on the outside.
Okay.
And you'll see a young woman come to the door, bears a resemblance to Rastir, and she'll speak with Quiets. You can see that she's probably in her late 20s. She has red hair that is streaked with silver, and clearly in command of the household, but also has at least a small axe at her side that you guess is some kind of mark of status. And her eyebrow arches when she reads the letter, and she'll kind of shake her head a little bit, and she will turn to you and say, "You are friends of my brother, then."
Recent friends of your brother, yes. We met him at the Fellwind Inn, where he was going to be ambushed by some bandits, but we dealt with them before he arrived. And so, as thanks, he gave us this letter of introduction after, he'd got to know us and we got to know him. So we met him on the road in fortunate circumstances. Well, he was very well when we left him.
Oh, good.
He was on his way.
I'm glad on that. He takes that trip from time to time, and it is always a worry, given the distance and the weather. My name is Dawn Sibin. I am Rastir's sister, and I have command of the house in his absence. I have very modest accommodations that I can offer you, gentlemen.
Very, very modest accommodations are just fine
and
for us.
She will bring you inside, a very warm. You come in from the outside. The fireplace is certainly going there. The walls have furs and tapestries across them to keep things warm. And she will lead you through to a guest room that would normally maybe fit like 3 or 4 people, so it's a little tight. And she will say, if you wish to change out of your gear or rest, I'll have water drawn and heated for you, and perhaps a meal. And she'll look around, would be amenable.
Of course. Thank you very much.
And she'll nod. She's very pleasant. And then, of course, you'll hear her scream at the servants. Get here! You'll hear that go very quickly through. And you'll be provided a meal, a brown bread, looks like salt pork with that, some greens. There's a strong mead that's provided to you. And she will sit with you four around the table. Kind of listens to your general conversation. And she eventually will say, "So, gentlemen," Shakan, and kind of looks at the rest. And he's probably getting on evening at this point. May I ask your business here in our city?"
I look to my companions for... shall we bring her into our confidence, my friends?
A silence falls.
I don't see why not.
Winter nods.
We're here because the Emperor has told us to come here.
The Emperor?
His agents,
Oh,
people we respect, not personally, I understand.
For a second, no.
I mean, he's a lovely man, but I haven't met him more than once,
But you've met the Emperor?
Yes.
But her eyes kind of get wide when she hears that.
Yes, I met him while organising parties for my employer Melisande while we were in Axis before we went to Drakenholm.
Oh, so you've come all the way from Axis?
Oh, yes.
Oh. And you can tell that she clearly wants to know more about that, but she will bring herself back and say, "So, why would the Emperor have sent you here?"
Well, word has reached the ears of the Emperor's agents that there has been some trouble here, and we have come to look into that.
And she'll furrow her brow, and she will say, "Well, there have been some animal attacks, and
That's of interest.
but I'm uncertain why that would draw the attention of the Emperor."
You know how sometimes rumors spread, and perhaps it is nothing, but we're here to check things out.
Oh, all right. Well, you'll want to speak with the head woman.
Very good. There is a head woman.
Yes. Her name is Philia Van Never. She will be able to guide you. Quiets would know more about incidents around and about. There is a tavern.
Yes.
And there are a couple of huntsmen and trackers that go out to the other settlements. They may have more details. I know that Grey Battle went and visited one of the steads that was attacked. I don't have the exact details. People tend to be quiet about that in town, but I believe that at least two of the newer steads a ways out were attacked. But beyond that, I couldn't say. I know there are other rumors and hearsay going about.
Well, I'm all ears if you'd like to gossip.
Well, she will actually try to
Big smile and
to draw out from you, and actually all four of you try to draw out from you more tales of Axis and the outside world and the great strange places that are not snow covered and ice clad.
Oh, well, I can tell her all about that. Yep, certainly. I can tell her about the islands that I come from, for
Okay.
example.
Why don't you
Which
make
are
a
totally different from around here.
well? Let's have you. Let's see about kind of establishing a relationship link here. Why don't you make a charisma check for me? What is your preferred background for this?
I'll use my Midland, my Stormmaker Islander background to tell her stories about what it's like, what that place is like, and what it's like to live on the shores of the Midland Sea, what Axis is like, which are the big places I've been to, because that's the place everyone from the Midland Sea goes first,
Mm-hmm.
and how very different it is. It's as different as, Stavanger and Port-au-Prince.
Oh yes. Let me have you make a check then.
Okay.
19. So she is impressed. She is enthralled. She asks more questions. She is very pleasant. You have the sense that that within a bit she's really glad to have all of you here, and maybe more of the ale is broken open, and she will certainly make sure that you are all attended to well. So let me ask. She certainly Shakan. She knows the bard. She sees you a wild and exotic traveler. For the rest of you, what impression do you think she's getting of you, Micah? What do you think she's reading from you?
For me, she is getting maybe a little bit of impatience, wanting to kind of get in there and do stuff. And the stories are nice, and I'm just kind of like sitting back and drinking. But I'm also obviously checking out my surroundings, not in like a paranoid fashion, but just to make sure that I know where everything is, and I feel comfortable about what is going on in the room.
Mm-hmm. And Winterthorn?
Winter would be calmly listening, attentively listening, trying to show herself as being receptive but not intrusive.
Do you think how apparent to her is it that you are a cleric, someone of the faith?
It should be apparent. I should have some sort of symbol. I would assume it would be sort of a wheel of fortune, or because this Valis is the goddess of travelers and those that are down and out.
All right. And what about you, William?
Well, in this kind of situation, like I said, especially if she's leery of orcs, as soon as I got the funny look, I think I would have been just kind of sitting there, listening, but not trying to. I don't know how you'd sit at a table and not draw attention to yourself. So shy, basically.
Okay.
Come off.
So for her, it'll be kind of a little bit striking that here's a someone with orcish blood who is very quiet and restrained at the table. Okay. And she will speak with you late into the evening, and then she will, essentially say, I must retire now, and allow you all to crash. So what I'd like to do, what I usually do when there's kind of a thing when you're in town is kind of, I assume the next day the group in various ways will go and look about, talk to people, that kind of thing?
Yes, that's my intention.
All right.
Yes.
So
I was actually going to start if I may jump
Sure,
in.
absolutely.
I was just going to actually start by getting up really early and talking to all of Derwin's servants
All right.
as they prepare the meal, the breakfast, and get everything ready for everyone else, including them, because I am also, of course, a servant
Mm-hmm.
of a, not a menial kind, but a servant nonetheless. It's what I do for a living until very recently. So I've got that sort of in with the people who work in the house, and I want to get information from them about any gossip they've heard about trouble in the town and in the area.
Okay.
So I'm pumping them as well.
All right. So I'm
To
going
be
to
very charming.
I'm going to start with Shakan, and then I'll kind of move along, and we'll kind of do what I call a once around, and kind of work through putting the information together. And the assumption should be when I do this is that information, you know what the other people have gotten, that kind of thing. If it seem reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Shakan, there are probably 4 servants in this household. You have the sense that the Sibbins are fairly well off here, and there's definitely sort of 3 older servants that look very sort of well placed, and then the younger woman who opened the door seems sort of the odd duck out. Looks like she might be a more recent addition or adopted, and she has more wild manners. The sense that this is new to her, that kind of thing. So why don't we have you make a charisma check? I'll give you some basic information, and then based on your level of success, I'll let you ask some follow-up questions, okay?
Sure. Just a second while I get my character sheet up in front of me again. I am going to use Charisma and Master of the Revels. To talk about stuff with our servant. Oh, terrible roll.
So they are perhaps a little put out just because you are so different. I mean, they appreciate that you're a servant, but they also have that thing is you don't look like a servant to them. So they are more deferring than you would like. But you will the real basic thing that you will hear is the concern is that at least 2 different steads, 2 different small households were attacked in the last few months, and everyone killed there, and that they've been told that it was animals or some sort of beast traveling through, but they definitely have the sense that there's more to it than that. Especially because apparently there was a 3rd household that just a week or so ago, maybe a little bit longer, that it was found empty. No signs of violence there. Just that the couple that were holding that household are just gone, and there's some nervousness. The sense you get from the servants is that there's a real kind of split between the town of Denmaryk and then that sort of outlying steads. So that's kind of the tension that's there.
Lowell, did we, from talking with Dawn and I guess from what Shakan has heard this morning, did we get an idea if all of these attacks and the disappearances happened on one side of the town? No, you have the so that's a point of clarification. So you have the sense that those different steads are a ways outside town in the different areas, so a good walk away in different directions. In different directions,
yes.
Okay.
So Shakan, I will give you one question. What's one thing you want to know in particular from these servants?
No, I have no further questions for them other than what I've gleaned, really. at the moment.
Okay.
I can't think of anything.
All right.
I'm happy to step out of the way.
That seems fair. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay. So William, when you rise, picked up some information. What is it that you want to do? How do you want to investigate? Who do you want to talk to? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'll wait until a little bit after the morning has got it going from the town. So eat breakfast, blah blah blah, and then there should be people out and about if they're going to be out and about at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go out and just kind of walk around the town, not going into the stores, not trying to scare anybody and get hood up and stuff like that. But I'm specifically looking for the more seedy people who might be hanging around.
Okay. Well, let me have you make a charisma check on that. I think that represents your social skills. And what is your particular skill with the underworld?
I have the organized crime. Now, so can I use my cunning in replacement for int in replacement of charisma for checks like this?
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah. So, William, you will find as you kind of walking around there are maybe a couple people who are, clearly from the wrong side of the ice river. Definitely the sense that maybe there are a couple of different clans or family lines around here, and that maybe some of them are regarded a little less well, like the young woman who works at Sibin's house, and you can see a couple others like that. But the one thing you will see is there is a fellow in the stocks out there, which, as you can imagine, is very cold out there, and you're actually surprised because you know him. And
Really?
yes, you will recognize him as sort of a thief, not the greatest of thief, but sort of an adventuring thief who used to brag about all of his exploits in Axis and would travel out and come back. And you can see that he is in the stocks there. They have put a blanket over him, but he's clearly been there overnight. It's a little bit out of the way, and they clearly aren't letting him freeze to death, but he seems to be shivering and cold.
I will walk up to him, put my hand on his head, kind of lift the blanket, and go, "So, got yourself in a little trouble there, did you?"
Tallfoot, the prince send you to free me?
I chuckle. Well, that is definitely one option. What on earth are you doing here?
This it's so cold. It's so cold here. Perhaps something warm, a drink, a beverage, something, please. Please, I beg you.
Do I have anything warm on me?
I would assume either you have a flask of something or maybe some of the hot tea from this morning.
Sure, I'll give him something to drink.
That's so good. He says, I made a misstep, perhaps.
Okay. And what were you misstepping with?
Apparently there. I was here scouting some things out, checking the usual sort of reconnoitering, and the town's a little suspicious of strangers, and apparently there've been some bandits around in the area, and I may have in my habits may have lifted a purse. You always want to stay in practice, even when you're out here in the boondocks. My hands may have been a little cold. You know how it is. Your muscles get a little freezy, and you're not quite as quick in the step as you think you are. And I got grabbed up by the watchman a couple of days ago and stuck in here. They bring me in for a while and then put me back out. Apparently they're having some kind of discussion about what to do with me. Perhaps if you could pop the lock or speak for me or something, I might have something of use to you.
Hold on just a second. Where was the guardsman in relation to here? I'm assuming he's around here somewhere, right?
Probably if you walk out and go around, it's probably a building down.
Okay, it's during the day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over the guardsman I've met, so hopefully he'll be there. And walk over. I'll tell my friend. I'll be right back.
Okay, please, the sooner the better. And
I'll walk over and talk to the guardsman.
Okay, you'll see Quiet's there. Again, he kind of looks around and looks at everybody else, and he will say, "Tallfoot, was it?"
Yeah.
I trust you're having no one is no one has been unpleasant to you, have they?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is a fine town all around. I do have something to discuss with you, though.
Please.
The man you have in the stocks, he is a, how do I want to put this? Stupid.
Petty thief, stupid. We could say both
Yeah.
those things, yes.
But harmless. I understand, and I can't for the life of me figure out why he would be out here. But I've known the man for years, and he does things when he gets in a pinch that are stupid. But I do owe him a couple of favors, and from my understanding of what he told me, it was a minor thing. I would like to pay the fine and any recompense required and see if I can't help him get back to where he belongs, which is not here.
Well, that's well, I
Unless he misspoke on what his crime actually was. Of course.
No, it was minor, but we've had rumors, and certainly your compatriots and you encountered some bandits. You do not think that he is involved with the bandits?
I chuckle. I absolutely guarantee you he does not have the mental capacity to be involved with any bandit group.
Well, how about this, Master Tallfoot? I will bring him in from the stocks, and I will put him up inside and treat him fairly until you and your compatriots go to leave, and then I'll send him along with you. Does that seem like a fair trade?
It seems like an absolutely fair trade. I certainly do not want to burden your town with people causing trouble.
No. It is well that someone came forward to speak for him. That gives me permission then to do well by him, where others might not be so considerate.
And as I said, I'm perfectly happy to pay for his fine. And
No. And he kind of waves his hand and says, No. You and your compatriots were able to defend our villagers, so it's only fair that you not have to pay anything for this.
Well, thank you very much.
And he will bring this person in and get him warmed up and stuff. And you'll speak with him, the thief, for a bit. And what he will tell you is that he was actually scouting out that monastery, the one that the group had kind of been sent to look into. And while he hadn't actually gone there, he had found an easy pass to get there. something that will make your travel, if you guys decide to go there, much easier.
Oh man, okay, that's awesome.
Okay? Does that seem reasonable?
Sounds reasonable to me. I actually have one follow-up question,
Sure.
if I could, and ask him, or even just ask around. Um, which is why I wanted to find the seedier guys. So there have been rumors, if I understand things, Lowell, there have been rumors that some of the outlying steads, people have disappeared or they've been abandoned or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the people who would likely to say, hey, somebody's not there, let me go take their stuff. I'm looking for someone who knows, did they leave? What was missing? Did they take their valuables? Were they still there? What's the circumstances? Because as soon as rumors like that get around, somebody's going to go out there and try to see what they can scavenge.
Well, how about this? How about I say that you can get sort of what those locations are, get kind of directions to where those steads are,
Okay.
and maybe get the sense that people haven't ransacked, because actually there's some real nervousness here about what's going on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Does that seem reasonable?
Seems reasonable.
Okay. Who's next? Winter? Micah?
It could be
I
winter.
guess.
Or you can go first, Mike. It doesn't matter.
It's up to you.
All right, Winter spoke first. Winter, you're next.
Okay. So Winter, she'll get up with the dawn and do her morning prayers, if you will, which is chanting and some quiet singing out in the courtyard, even if it's cold, facing the sun. And then what she'd like to do for the other parts of the day, aside from see if, since she was a fortune teller and since she's a cleric of the god of fortune, she tends to, and she uses her looks to sort of take advantage of this, that people will assume that she's got some connection with the mystical. People often come to her for advice and for fortune telling, and so she will try and take advantage of that to get information while giving them sage advice about how to, make lemonade out of when life gives you lemons, and so on and so forth. And so that would be one thing she'll be trying to do, but not pressing particularly hard, but she wants to find out information about that, about what's going on in the city, and also if she could find out anything about the house of, is it Esther or Yester?
Yester.
Yester.
Okay, so let me have you make a charisma roll with your appropriate background.
Okay, so that'll be the fortune teller one. You said charisma. Let me change it.
So the 18, that's a pretty good roll there. So you have the sense that the town itself is kind of isolated from, essentially there's town and then the farmsteads that are out in the distance, and they do interact. The town is actually, there's a surprising amount of money here. There's more wealth than you would have expected, and certainly you have the sense that whatever that mine is, that it must draw in some serious coin for the town. Though you don't see a lot of miners, the people going in at the crack of dawn or with pickaxes or things like that. So that's a little unusual. So that's sort of what you'll get as perception of the village, and people are pleased to have a religious figure here. Clearly, this is not something that's all that common for them. The details you get on the Yester estate is that's actually quite a ways away. It's one of the most distant of the sort of old estates, and it's in a valley. A significant ways away, and people don't go there. There's real strong rumors about bad stuff being there. In particular, it's supposed to be kind of unstable, ice and rock slides, and actually crevices opening up. So you'll get a couple of stories about that, and no one that you kind of talked to has been to the Esther estate in well over a year or two. Does that seem reasonable?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and with that roll, let me allow you. What's one other question you want to ask you that you'll get the answer to from this?
Who minds in the mines?
And people kind of don't have the sense that that's something that they kind of keep on the quiet, but someone will mention that the team, is up there, and you really at the mines, and the ritualist they mention, and that he's up there, and that you really should speak to him because he's essentially handles the village rituals and stuff, and his name is Mog of the Hours. And you have the sense that actually he's part of the sort of mining team that's up in there. And they say, yes, you should definitely speak with Mog, when he comes down in the evening after the shifts.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Micah.
Okay, I would probably go out and wander about the town,
Okay.
and just to see how it's laid out. Now, you said that I missed this. Is there a wall around the village?
It's kind of it's up sort of uneven on the mountain, so the wall is pretty modest.
Okay.
It's mostly sort of the general terrain that they clearly expect will defend them. And it's
Okay.
clearly seen some battles over the years.
Okay. Now, is there just a city watch, or is there any sort of militia, or...
You have the sense that there's the watchman, and then there are a few sort of younger men who are doing city duties and are armed. So it's very modest in terms of militia.
Okay. Well, eventually, it basically ends up being kind of a spiraling throughout the village until I get to the watch's headquarters, and I will go in there.
And you see he's giving hot soup to some frozen vagabond that he's put in a cell, effectively.
And I will take off my helm, since it tends to be kind of intimidating. So
Yes, that adds to your 6'4" presence.
yeah, so as soon as I walk in, I take it off, and I smile to the guardsman, and I say, "Morning."
Greetings to you, Greyhelm.
That is correct. I'm Micah Greyhelm. So
And
passing through these parts.
he Quiets will walk over to you, and will your accommodations well for you?
Oh, most definitely. It's better than a hard rock on the road any day.
Excellent.
Yes.
So can I help you with something?
Oh, I am just here, just wandering about your town. It's a nice little village here. So
Be ashamed if anything happened to it. Sorry.
it would be. Yeah. I'd hate to have to put it to the torch. No. So I'm just concerned, about this bandit activity that's that we ran into on the way here, and we've heard stories of bandits around here. I mean, do you get many attacks around here?
He pauses to consider his words carefully. He will say, ordinarily I would have said not. The terrain around here is harsh. We get feuds between some of the families, and that passes for banditry. Some of the more barbaric families have gone on raids and thefts, the Orndarks and so on. That's what passes for banditry around here. But we've had some people waylaid in the last few weeks, Just a couple, and they weren't. The bandits clearly weren't from here, so it made me fear that some group had been passing through, or a handful, or I was uncertain. Certainly, your story about the attack at the inn gives me greater pause that there may be more to these bandits than I would have expected.
Well, we also heard stories of homesteads being attacked and people killed and things like that.
Then he says, you should really speak to the head woman about that.
Is she doing it?
What?
And I laugh.
No. That is a greater matter. I look to the security of the town. She has a better sense of what that might involve. You're going to hear a lot of people talking rumors and speculation around here. So I would go to someone who will be reliable to ask those questions.
Well, if you ever need my assistance, please let me know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We'll keep that in consideration. May I ask? Why are you and your companions here?
Why are we here? We are here because we have been told that there have been odd happenings in the area, and we have been asked to come out and see if there were any truth to these rumors.
Were you asked by Wreck Havoc from Hammer Falls, from the headman there?
No, we were asked by the agents of the Empire.
And it'll... All right. I suggest you tell, when you speak with the head woman, you tell her that, but perhaps not others.
Okay.
And that clearly gives him food for thought.
I look over at the prisoner and I say, I don't think he's quite done shivering yet. You sure he doesn't need some more time out in the stocks?
No. He'll kind of laugh. Your friend Master Tallfoot vouched for him, so we will keep him warmed.
Very well.
So we come back to Shakan. After you've kind of talked with the servants and the group has kind of gathered some more information, what do you want to do? Are you muted?
Yes, I was muted. Sorry, I did that so I didn't interrupt anyone.
No.
Then I forgot to push the button. My apologies. Okay. I thought at this point we might see about talking to the head woman, if everyone's agreeable.
Okay. Go as a group?
Or we could... Yeah, I thought we might go as a group, because we're all here together as an official type thing. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've...
Is everyone cool with that?
Sure.
Or we can
Yeah, I'm good.
explore and check
Okay.
the temple or what have you. We've got to talk to this Maya, the ritualist, and so on. So I think talking to the head woman's probably good.
Okay. So you will go to the essentially what sort of the headman's household there.
I would ask Miss Dawn to accompany us and introduce us to the head woman, if she would not mind.
And she will be most amenable, given her positive outlook on the group.
Yes, rather than just fronting up out of the blue, we bring along a local and get her to introduce us, and that way we've got a perfectly good reason to turn up. And, give the head woman our regards, and then perhaps strike up conversation.
All right. And when you as a group now walk across town, The looks are more curious than fearful, especially when they see Mistress Sibbin walking you across, and we'll take you to the longhouse that's here. Great carved totem poles with different faces and images out front of it. Those look fairly ancient. And she will take you inside, and you will see this younger than you would expect woman with great long blonde hair that has been tied back in a long knot running down her back. She is in leather, not armor, but a sort of heavier dress, blade at her side. And you can see that a very striking blue eye on one side of the face. The other side is clearly at some point took the rake of some kind of really savage claw. And it's long ago, and it's healed very oddly. So it's almost kind of a Jonah Hex, where her eye is sort of a little milky there, and her mouth kind of twists. And she's clearly talking with somebody else in the village, and you'll hear as you're brought in, I don't know, there's like 4 of them, and there's one of them's a half orc, and you'll kind of interrupt that, and the head woman will turn and we'll see.
Just clear our throats quietly in the background. Oh, speak of the devil.
She'll look, and she casts her gaze across the 4 of you, and she will say, "Come in, gentlemen. I had hoped you would come to see me."
Ladies.
And
I'll allow. I'll let Dawn introduce us. Of course.
And she will, and she says that these gentlemen are the ones that rescued my brother, and were able to save the caravan, and I have put them up in my household, and this is Shakan, the bard, and he comes from the Great Islands, and this is Micah Greyhelm, and they from Axis, and this is Winter Thorn, and she's a servant of Valas, and this is William Tallfoot, and he's a person, and
he's a friend of mine from Axis. Actually.
Yes. And she'll introduce, and the head woman goes, all right, and she'll say, Dawn, I will speak with these travelers. You may leave us, and sort of dismisses her and dismisses the other person who was here.
I waved them goodbye.
Okay.
Bye. We'll talk later. Bye.
And she will say, come, you 4, and she'll walk you over to the long table. Grab a seat.
I'll sit down.
And she'll look and she'll say, Master Tallfoot, we don't get many half-orcs in this region.
That's not unexpected.
I see. And
Mr. Tallfoot's come quite a long way to get here.
Yes.
So have I.
And that would be my next question. All the way from Axis, you 4, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Which,
That's right.
Which leads me to ask why.
Well, I'll be straightforward with you, as my friend told me. Aravo, whose name you're probably not familiar with, but he's one of the Emperor's servants, asked us to come here. And because word has reached Axis of trouble here in Denmaryk in particular, so we've come to have a look and see if we can find out what the trouble is and assist in perhaps sorting it out, maybe. Who knows? Or at least reporting back. And that's why we're here.
Well, it certainly sent a diverse group to look into it and potentially sort it out.
Oh, well, we were handy, We
I
were at a loose end,
I assume there's more worries at the back of this if they would send people from Axis.
Well, if there are worries, they're possibly so, yes.
All right.
They're worried that there might be some unfriendly power behind your troubles.
Ah, I take your meaning. That
An unfriendly power that we had trouble with ourselves not 2 nights ago at the Fellwind Inn.
So.
If you get my meaning.
Yes, I do. I will not speak her name.
No.
Well, that puts a new spin on things. I had thought that we had some beast, wolves or something on the loose. Maybe something stronger. There are white dragons around in the mountains here, but they are a cowardly lot, and they usually don't attack. They're scavengers. But so I had assumed an animal attack of some kind. But the last incident, the third one, well, there was no signs of attack, but we have a family that's gone completely missing. And there's been other things. There are at least 2 huntsmen that have vanished on the tracks. Mind you, they travel out a ways and they'll be gone for months, but they left no word that they were heading out. So the numbers are significant. And if you believe that there's another power at work, then that raises concerns for me.
Well,
to be short, how can I assist you and your compatriots?
I have the impression that some of my compatriots would like to visit the sites where your people have disappeared. At least some of them. Would I be wrong, my friends?
No, if I may ask,
Yes.
I've heard rumor that there have been several estates with people missing and or having left. How many are we actually talking about?
Three households, plus a few disappearances that now that you suggest there may be a pattern, I would likely lump into that category.
And over what period of time?
The last few months. And I will say this: we always see things. People are always worried. They're out late in the snow. They see things, but more than usual, we've heard strange reports. Lights seen in different places and things moving about. So there is certainly some unease amongst the villagers. Well, I can ask one of the local trackers, probably Grey Battle, to lead you as you would need, and I can give that assistance to you. As well, I know that Quiets has some supplies for the militia that he can hand over to you. What else?
Well, that's Micah. Is there anything particular we could do to assist you?
Hmm.
Besides investigating your trouble, which we're doing anyway.
Well,
But is there something that perhaps one of us might be able to help you with?
she'll pause. She'll say, "I've said 3, but there may be a 4th. One of the larger steads we've had no report from in 4 or 5 days, which is slightly unusual. I would have expected to have seen one of the sons from the household here a few days ago for some trading and supplies, but he has not turned up. I was going to wait another day before I sent someone out to see if there was anything amiss."
Well, why don't we start with that?
Yes. Why don't we go that way?
All right.
Winter chimes in and asks again, is there any... how do these steads relate to the city? Are they all around the city?
The terrain around here is very uneven. There are valleys and some flats. We actually have a surprising fertility of land where we can plant orchards and such. And as you'll see when you move around, there are various steam vents that are irregular but do provide some warmth. So there are perhaps 24 different households scattered in the surrounding valleys that are connected to our town. Some further away than others, but in all directions. Does that answer your question?
So, darling, are you saying that these steads are built near these vents? Is that one thing they all have in common?
Well, typically they would be close by them, just because they would provide warmth. But the steam is so uncertain that they can't always rely on them.
Mm-hmm.
They've been more regular of late.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Definitely Valis smiles on you.
Oh.
And I've noted your city seems to be doing so well despite all how harsh this climate is. And we've heard rumors that, well, not rumors, we've heard that the mine up on the mountain is part of what has provided you with so much fortune.
I will need a charisma check from you.
Okay.
Ruh-roh, Raggy struck a nerve.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this is the psychologist in me, the fortune teller.
Okay.
Oh, that wasn't very good.
She will pause and she will say, I don't believe the mine has anything to do with this. And she gets very tight-lipped.
Do I have a sense she's lying?
Why don't you make a wisdom check for me?
Just a regular wisdom check?
Yeah. Do you have anything that's appropriate for lie detection or human perception?
Oh yeah. Trust me, when somebody tells me, when somebody lies when you're trying to get information and or money from them,
Okay.
you know it.
That seems fair enough.
I guess we're getting an indication of what kind of thief Tallfoot is.
Yes. It doesn't seem like as much she's lying, but that she clearly doesn't want to talk about the mine to outsiders. Clearly that's something that's a little bit on the hush-hush. And she just wants to shut that conversation down.
Well, when would be a good time for us to leave to go to this stead? Would it be in the morning? Is it that distant? Or is it that we could go there and be back here by evening?
Well, certainly.
Because we'd be happy to leave in the morning if that's the best way to do it.
She'll say, "Well, the judgment would be yours, and certainly you might. Grey Battle may have a better sense of it. How far, what the conditions are to house Fate Flame. I'll give you the name of that estate here. But I suspect you could leave today, but you would be pushing it to get back by evening, or you could leave in the morning. I leave it to your judgment on your skills and your willingness to travel." Well, if there's nothing else,
That was the last point I was going to ask.
I will. And she'll give you the directions to where Grey Battle is, and the tracker. And she'll say, I have matters to look to with the village, but if you have need of anything else, you may speak to me, or you may speak with Quiets. And she dismisses you.
I bow, and we take our leave, I guess.
Okay. She probably gives an eye to Winter as you guys leave.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the evil eye, or
That makes me suspicious. Eye.
okay?
Of course.
Winter smiles enigmatically and bows and leaves.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to see if she sends a message to anybody? Do we want to watch her house?
Would one of you
I'm
like to do
perfectly
that?
willing to hang back and kind of keep an eye and see if someone goes rushing out soon after.
Okay. So let's do kind of a once around here, and we'll start with you, Dusty. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
Okay. So you will, after you depart, and you kind of fade back to the shadows. Let's have a stealth check, effectively, for you to kind of fade into the woodwork here. Why don't you make let's say dexterity plus, what do you think is appropriate for this?
Burglar.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Burglar.
Oh, did I mention that? Sorry.
Yeah. Organized crime thug, burglar.
Oh, that was a horrible roll.
So here's what I will say. You will see a little while after you have left. You will see that clearly one of the headwoman's servants arrives, and then departs and heads up the walkways up to the mine, and is kind of heading and kind of getting to the top there. And clearly, you sense has been sent up there to carry a message. But kind of as they're getting up towards the top, you'll see them kind of look and catch sight of you watching them.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay.
They don't stop, but they do kind of, do that sort of jerk, as they clearly recognize that someone unusual is maybe watching them, but they still go into the mine.
Okay.
Okay? Does that seem reasonable?
Yep.
Okay. Who's next?
That was my one big idea, but
Okay.
No, it's a perfectly good idea. Well, let's go talk to this Grey Battle chap then.
You will follow directions and get over to a little household, skins and things hanging outside, things drying, and snowshoes around and about, and kind of knock and be called inside, and you will see a very tall halfling. So equivalent of a very short human, but one of the tallest halflings you've seen. And he's kind of looks at you, and he's like, well, what's this on my doorstep?
Lowell, I think I'd be there too.
Oh, yeah. Who are you three?
Well, I'm Shakon the Bronze.
The
and
Bronze.
I'm from... That's my name.
Oh.
Because I'm bronze, you can tell.
Yes, you are. There's quite a tan there you've got, sir.
Yes, well, I'm from Hummingbird Island in the Spray.
Oh.
And
You've
is-
made quite the wrong turn, sir.
oh, I knew where I was going.
Oh, fair enough.
This is Winterthorn, Micah Greyhelm, and we've been sent here by Vanover
Oh.
to discuss going to House Fateflame.
Oh. Yeah.
Because I believe you would give us advice on when's a good time to leave and how to get there, and perhaps give that kind of thing. I'm no expert in snow travel, as you would imagine. Coming from this
I
range.
would imagine. And the rest of your compatriots, how skilled are you, lady, gentlemen, in travel through the snow?
I've had call to do that. It doesn't bother me.
All right. Kind of takes a little chaw there as he tries to assess the tiefling that's in his house. And you, 2-man?
I've been in the military for a long time, and snow never really bothered me. Mountains really don't bother me.
Okay. He says we could get to Fate Flame and back today if we're hasty, but we'd be pushing it. Certainly, we could stay there if with them if we need to overnight. Otherwise, I'd say we could leave in the morning. That'd be my
what
thing.
if they're not there?
Ooh.
I say in a very dramatic tone.
Well, then that's a whole different ball of wax there, isn't it?
Let's plan for that.
Well, if that were the case, then, good sir, I would want to leave in the morning and not be in some house of blood overnight. I already had that happen once, so...
And then that's a plan.
Yes. All right.
Very
Where are you staying?
We are staying with Sibilans.
Ah. He does a knowing look. Yes. All right. Right. Well, I'll come by in the morning.
We rescued her brother from bandits not 2 nights ago at the Fellwind Inn.
Yeah. But so... Wait, so you're the ones with that killed the couple dozen bandits at the inn?
Yes.
Oh.
That's us.
Oh. I started to hear tell of that. They had a sorcerer with them, I understand?
They had a wizard.
A wizard? There's a difference?
Yes.
Oh. Well, fair enough.
Not really.
Trust
Not
me.
really.
I'm a sorcerer.
Oh.
There's really no difference. When you hit them with an axe, they all fall down.
That's always been my theory about these things. All right, well, tell you what, gentlemen, I'll come and gather you up in the morning. Let me bring some extra coats and such. You might want to be especially bundled up for the journey.
Very good.
And so I assume there'll be a little bit of recompense for me, though?
Of course.
Okay. Just want to be on the sure side with that.
Of course.
And so you say, I'll get my things together for that.
Thank you very much, Grey Battle. We shall see you in the morning.
In the morning.
At the latest.
All right, so you get that set. Dusty, you've been spotted, but you do see the messenger heading up to the mine. We'll assume the group gathers together again. Information is spread. So you have an afternoon and evening. What is the plan?
Winter would like to go to the temple.
Okay.
And assuming that it's not a temple dedicated to a single god, then she would go in, clean it up, and set up for perhaps having a service
Okay.
for the town.
All right. So we'll start with you.
That's a sensible plan.
So you will make your way over to there. You probably have to prise the door open a little bit. It's kind of frozen in place, and no one interrupts you.
Winter to her.
I'm sorry.
I'm accompanying Winter,
Okay.
by the way.
So it doesn't look like anybody moves to stop you, especially given that you've already presented yourself as a religious figure around. It's a small temple. It has sort of wood-carved walls. They look like they might have been really quite nice in the past, but ice and water have kind of cracked them in a lot of places, and it's a lot of the sort of the images of the mountain gods and the sort of the northern gods throughout here. More gods of the barbarians, more gods of survival, that kind of thing. In particular, you'll see a largest sort of a panel dedicated to Sarajin, the monster hunting god. You see him fighting a great sea monster there in that portrait. And snow has broken in a couple places. The benches are sort of disheveled. And it does look like they put scrolls and books and things are kind of stacked up and covered with a tarp in one part of here. So it's going to be quite an effort to get this cleaned up. How do you want to approach that?
Well, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is when I see a temple like this in a town. How big is this town?
It looks like maybe you would guess there's about 120, 150 people in the town, maybe a little bit more, and it clearly used to be bigger.
And in the houses we've been in, have we seen any indication of what would it be? I don't know, icons or symbols of different faiths or gods to indicate that they were faithful people?
So what you've seen is a mix of the sort of the very generic sort of images of the priestess, who kind of represents all of the gods, and sort of decorated versions of the cathedral is sort of typical, and then household shrines, shrines to local spirits, shrines to ancestors, that kind of thing around. So people are following a very sort of basic kind of local set of faiths.
But would it strike us as strange that a temple was in disuse like this in a town that's supposedly doing well?
It does seem a little odd.
Okay. Let's see. Unfortunately, I don't think I have any like special cantrips to help us clean up.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's going to be elbow grease.
Elbow grease.
Yeah. And maybe try and lure some of the other town people to come in. Like try and round people up if there are any people in the tavern. I guess might try and drinking this early in the day or something like that. If there anybody's.
I was going to the tavern for the evening, but we could go earlier, I suppose.
All right.
To get
we could,
help to try and.
We could ask our watchman friend if he can lend us the chap in the cells and that kind of thing.
Okay. You'll go in and speak with Quiets, and he's like, "Oh, sure, yeah, we can put him to work. That sounds reasonable."
Good. Let's do that.
And in terms of rounding up other assistants, one of you should make a charisma check for that.
I'll do that.
All right.
Because I'll do it in song.
Okay.
I shall whip out the instrument, and I am going to sing a song about clearing the temple and making it right and doing something good.
All right.
A work song.
It's-
Daylight come and me wanna go home.
I was thinking Mary Poppins more,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
no, not bad.
17.
That's not bad. So I will say that you will definitely be able to get a handful of people, probably a couple of housewives and some other sort of day laborer folk who are working around in the town who'll be willing to give up their afternoon to assist with this.
Hey.
And so you'll get a good 6 folks who will bring some tools and items to assist with the cleaning here. Some wood to help patch up some spots, that kind of thing. And let me have Winter Thorn kind of make a wisdom roll for your kind of reconsecration. Does that seem like a good thing?
Sure. The closest thing I'd have would be Citadel Archivist, I guess, to assist
Okay.
me. Not brilliant.
Okay. So one of the things is you'll be able to get. It looks like you have to kind of move these. These are old city records and things like that, and ledgers and stuff. So you move that off to the side. You will note that the sort of the main altarpiece that you actually have to clean a goodly amount of blood off of there. That's pretty old, and that will take a bit.
Interesting.
And sort of as you, Shakan, you and Winter Thorn have the people in here, you'll kind of start to draw out the story, and this seems to tie that they stopped using this around the time that the monastery was put to the torch.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently they had a couple of brothers from the monastery that actually did the services here at that point. And that one of the brothers killed the other one, and then when they tried to stop him, he actually killed a couple of other people before they were able to take him down. So it seemed truly inauspicious, especially when they went up to the monastery and discovered that it had burned. And apparently there were some other things around that time, but they've kind of shut this up and haven't used it for a good 15, 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
Seem reasonable?
Sure.
Yes, that sounds perfectly reasonable.
So what's the most important thing to you, Winter, about getting this set up? What does it look like here?
The altar should be clean. I'm assuming I'll do an early evening service, so we'll have time to clean it up. So we'll need some sort of candle lights or torch lights to light it, and it'll look better in the dark with sort of that flickering light, I imagine. More mystical, which is what she always goes for, right? Because that's, having been a fortune teller and trying to play that all off to make things more interesting and mystical and intriguing. That would be the way that she would play it. So I don't know what else we find in there, but perhaps we find, I don't expect after 15 years there would be any cloth that we could use to cover the altar or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it would just be a matter of cleaning it up and lighting it appropriately.
Okay. Get that set up to do sort of very much a little bit of the mysteries, but a very basic sort of layout here with the candles and such. Okay.
Right.
And Shakan, what's your kind of intent? What is it that you want to be doing here with this after you gather the folks together?
I'm just being a helpful and sociable person who wants to see the town doing well and assisting my compatriots. So I'm just generally pitching in and cheering people up and keeping them focused on the job and all that kind of people person skills, of which I'm very good at. So I'm here just to help out.
Okay. So generally,
And we got the story of what happened, and that was very interesting, and pretty much gelled with what I expected. So that was kind of what I got out of it.
okay.
Was finding out what the history of why it's disused, and that gelled with what we knew. So,
Winter, you were saying?
I was going to also say that since you were saying that there were books here, anything that might describe the House of Yester would also draw her interest if she ran across it while they were cleaning.
Well, certainly later on, after the service, you'll probably have time if you want to sit and go through the papers. That seems reasonable, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so we'll come back to the service, but you guys have got that set up. Let me check with the others, and then we'll kind of flip back to this.
cutscene.
Okay. So let's come back to you, Micah. What is your next step?
I think after everyone's split up, I would probably Vaniver mentioned that we can get supplies from Quiet and the Watch, so I would go and talk to them about that, and then I'd probably end up heading to the tavern.
Okay. So Quiets will provide you with essentially 6 vials of weapon oil, particularly fire oil, which is used to essentially add the fire element to a weapon and give a bonus for a fight.
Okay.
And he has 2 standard healing potions that he will hand off to you.
I should probably just drink them now.
Yeah, I don't think you can pre-drink, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
It'd be a great feat.
I'm just going to carbo load on healing.
Exactly.
We'll just rig an IV to run from your helm.
Yes. Oh yeah, we could put
He's
little.
got one of those, like a beer helm.
Yep.
Can I
Exactly.
do something like a chipmunk, and just shove it in my cheeks?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Cheek pouches? Wow.
So he will hand you those, and we'll say, I hope that will be useful.
Oh, most definitely. Thank you so much for that, and hopefully we can help resolve some of the things that are happening around this town. So, seems like a nice place.
Yeah. Well, though, he kind of pauses. Though, from what I've heard now, it's a little worrisome.
Well, that's why we're here.
All right. You will go to the tavern after your 6-foot form tries to comfort this gentleman, but probably has little success.
Yes.
You'll have to duck down to get into the tavern. There are probably a couple people drinking there.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it might be a little less crowded, just because a couple of them have been dragged off to assist with the cleaning of the temple. But
Dragged off. We didn't do it that way. We charmed them.
Guilted.
I just kind of shake my head at that and go and find myself a table and sit down and wait. Is there a waitress or some manner of serving wench, or am I going up to the bar?
There is a gentleman who will walk over, since it is a fairly small affair, and he will say, "Greetings. What can I get for you?"
What is the specialty of the house?
We have a beer and we have ale.
Oh, both kinds of music.
Both kinds.
Awesome. I will have ale, and whatever those gentlemen are drinking, go ahead and get another one for them as well.
Degenerous to a fault. Hold on but a moment. And he will come back with ale. It's pretty stiff. It's pretty dark.
Okay.
That kind of weird thick, where maybe it's actually more a lager. That you guess that probably he's not a trained brew person and doesn't get the brew from elsewhere. But
I've had a few.
the two villagers that you buy the drinks for will raise a toast to you, and you will see a guy who looked like an older guy, kind of gnarled, over on the far side, get up, and you see him walks over, one leg kind of dragging, one arm kind of dragging, and he approaches. You can see that he looks old, but when you kind of see his eyes look kind of young, despite his kind of shocked white hair. And he will come over and he'll say, Greyhelm?
Yes.
I thought that was you. Never seen a warrior that tall before. Had to bow when he came in. May I sit? May I sit?
Of course.
Do you remember me? I was in the service of him. I was in the units. My name's Grundar. Do you remember me?
Grundar, it's been, and I'm assuming I do remember him.
Yes, but you remember
Not
him as
quite this-
as a young man.
What happened to you?
Well, was on campaign with and we walked in and we fought and then things opened up underneath me and all of us fell in to one of the edges. The whole ground swallowed up everything. Hot, burning. I managed to climb out, but everyone else was gone. And when I came out, I looked like this. I still feel the burning all the time. That's why I had to come where it was cold. And when I went back, they said it was useless. Said I wasn't worth anything anymore. So they pitched me out.
Those bastards.
Are you here in his service?
No. And I kind of point out the scar that runs along my cheek. I'm like, no, I was cordially asked to leave after having a disagreement with one of the fops.
Oh, that's too bad. You were a strong arm against the demons. So.
Well, I've just taken my talents elsewhere. So.
You are here for a task? Are you hunting things? Come here to kill things?
Well, I usually don't go any place without something getting hit hard. So yeah, I'm here hunting things.
Maybe you might have some coin on you?
And I said, sure. And I pull out.
No, not charity. A purchase, a trade, a deal.
Oh, what do you have?
I kept one thing I found. It has not been of great use to me, but maybe for you, maybe it would work for you. And you'll see him reach in, and he pulls out a bag, and he very carefully opens up the bag. His hands are trembling. And actually, one of the things when you're sitting next to him is he does give off a lot of heat. You can see that he still seems flushed, and that's clearly something. And he will unwrap a little oilskin, and he will pull out this very simple ring with a black gem set in it, and he will say, "This, it's a magic ring." No joke. No, it is. I kid you not. No, I wouldn't lie to you because I know you could cut me down and would.
Well, only for lying. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So what's it do?
it protects you against, when you fight the demons and sometimes you lose your way, you lose your direction. It helps protect you against that. In game terms, it is a +2 bonus against confusion.
Ooh.
And when you're confused, you get to choose which of your nearby allies you attack.
Oh, excellent.
Okay.
I hate the whole randomness about confusion, so I'd rather choose which one I attack. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes me feel good.
And when you have it on, you can actually target to hit yourself rather than an enemy.
Oh, no, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's great. That's the whole bad Dobby syndrome.
Well, all this tells me is that if you get confused, I just start throwing gold at you, so you don't want to hit me.
Yeah. So it is a ring of enmity. I think that's how you say it.
Sure. I'm just going to call it +2 ring against confusion personally, but yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I said, Grendar, what can I give you for this? This would be very helpful.
It would be whatever coin you could spare. I can do little in terms of work. I try to, and they're generally good to me. But any coin that I could use to sustain myself would be appreciated.
So what do you do here?
Sometimes I carry things. Sometimes I go up into the mine and help there.
The mine. What sort of mine is that?
Like nothing you've ever seen. Like
Really?
they don't have axes. They just get the stuff. It just
What do you
comes.
mean they just get the stuff?
And you'll kind of be interrupted by the innkeep.
Uh-huh.
And he puts down with a kind of a slam a mug of ale.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see Grindar kind of look up at the innkeep and then go, but yes, any coin that you could offer.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't have much, but I will give you as much as I can.
Oh, anything would be most excellent.
So
Are you parsimonious? Are you or are you generous to him?
Well, since I have all of maybe 25 gold pieces to my name, I will be generous to him. I figure I'll give him 20 gold pieces for it.
Oh, you are getting off super cheap, but to him it's a king's ransom.
Right.
And he will take the coin, and you have the sense that he doesn't want to upset anyone, so he kind of clams up about the mine.
Okay. Well, at that point, then I will obviously change the subject, and I'll start talking about, the good old days of being, in the service, and talk about training and just the goofiness that can result from that. So
he's still got a little bit of that Crusader madness to him when you start talking about that kind of passion and stuff that makes him difficult and kind of crazy for other people to be around.
Right, and I try not to feed on that too much, and I try not to talk down to him.
What about you, Tallfoot?
Well, I had thought that I was going to go talk to my friend who's in jail, but since he's now being asked to clean up the cleric or the temple, I'll probably head over there and talk to him there.
All right.
So I can help clean. But I just want to have a conversation with him because he mentioned that he knew a quick way to get to the monastery. I just want to know when he's been here. We're hearing rumors about some kind of animal or something attack out there. What has he seen?
So he'll give you a couple of pieces of information. One, he is able now that kind of out, he will draw you a better map of the way to get up to the monastery, and kind of explain that the main road is very much kind of a cliff road to get there, but there's kind of a back way which is less risky.
Okay.
He said that he only got a little ways up there because he wasn't really set for how cold it was. But he will say that he saw a couple of big things flying around the monastery from the distance, like man-sized flyers. He doesn't know what they were, but that was the other reason that he turned back, is he saw a couple of those things circling, and that made him nervous.
Like man-sized flyers, and they had wings.
Yes, wing things, but beyond that, I couldn't tell you what they were. He says the snow and the white gets in your eyes, and then it's hard to see anything out here. You go blind. The other thing that he will tell you is he will mention that a couple of strangers came through town a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, and he describes one of them, and it sounds like that bandit that you guys fought that was casting the spells. But the other person that he describes with that bandit is, he said, and he had this elf that was with him. And they passed through. They were here for just a couple of hours, looked around, and then they headed on.
An elf, really?
Yes.
Wasn't the lieutenant of the bandits an elf?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
And how long ago was this?
3 or 4 days ago,
3 or 4 days.
just before I got pinched.
All right. Well, like I said, I'll stay here and help
Okay.
since I'm already here, and you look like, oh, thanks, got what I want to buy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me take a quick bio break. Here, we'll take 5 minutes, and then we'll continue on to kind of do the evening. Does that seem okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We're right back. And I'm back. I guess I should switch back to the start page.
John, are you back?
Not yet.
Not yet, I guess. Okay. I was going to ask what it was that. Again, what did the guy in the bar say? Grundar about the temple.
I don't think he said anything about the temple. He said something about the
Not
mine.
the temple, the mine. The mine.
He said it was.
He said that they didn't use axes.
Yeah.
They use axes in the mine.
Mm-hmm.
They don't use mining tools.
They just pick it up.
Right. He said
He didn't say what it was.
I'm not sure why they're coy about a mine that we know about in Axis. I mean, we heard about it before we left, so it's very odd. Interesting.
Did we hear about the mine before we left?
It's in my notes.
Yeah, that they had
We
mentioned
heard
there's
about
a
it.
mine here.
Okay. I didn't know if they were just trying to keep it on the down low so that the Imperial tax collectors didn't come around.
Well, maybe they found something that they're mining that, isn't on the old Imperial registry. It used to be gold, now it's magic
Entirely,
power
yeah.
orbs.
Entirely possible.
So, in the evening, Winter, you're going to do a service?
Yes.
Okay.
Or the early evening, right at sunset is when should we time it? The circle of life thing. That's
Okay.
Balance of life. That's fortune, and it'll be a sermon about when calamity befalls you, there's always a silver lining, and you can do something about it. You just have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best, and so on and so forth. And hopefully, it'll be something inspiring.
Okay.
And I'm providing musical accompaniment.
Oh, well, okay. So I will then, when I have you make your sort of sermon check, I'm going to give you a +2 bonus from Shakan's assistance. How does that sound?
Sure. I think I'm going to have to take a new background if I keep doing this. But
Yes.
yeah.
So,
Ritual caster, what's wrong with that?
yeah. Let me ask William and Micah where you're going to be, and then I want to narrate a bit. What are you two going to do during that?
Rob the houses while everybody's at the circus.
Yes.
Actually,
Actually.
Man after my own heart.
yeah, not a religious person per se, but if this is going to actually draw attention from people, then I'm going to sneak my way up closer to that damn mine and figure out what the hell's going on.
Okay. I will come back to you on that. And what about you, Micah, just so I can get kind of a declaration?
Having it not on mute would be a good thing.
Oh, yes.
So I'm not really a religious person either, but I'm also not the most stealthy person on the planet.
That's
so
true.
I think I'm just going to stay at the tavern and actually, no, I'll probably go and wander over to see if Grey Battles would like to join me for dinner.
Okay.
And then wander back to the tavern.
Sure. He will ask if you're paying.
And I said, sure.
Okay, well then yes.
And we did get some, John, you might have forgotten, we did get some money up front, although I don't seem to have written down how much it was.
I didn't tell you how much it was. So let me now give
a
you
suitable amount.
a suitable amount is what I said. So if we want to go by numbers, I'm going to look here since
I don't care about numbers as long as I have enough to, pull
Buy
off
mistake.
buying him dinner,
Right.
and drinks.
Yeah, I'm personally not big in counting the gold either.
Okay.
As long as we just know how much we have, if we're dirt poor or we've got, as long as we know relatively what we have, that's fine. I can play that.
well, let me just quickly look at the thing. So I would assume that you guys were all given at least let's say about 75 gold pieces as sort of pocket money, and all your other expenses to come up here were paid for.
That's right.
So you get a decent amount of money. So let's start then with Winter, with Shakan. Now, Shakan, are you just doing musical accompaniment, or are you providing any kind of storytelling in this?
Well,
You could do the great introduction. When I met Winter.
no. No, I'm assisting with the service at appropriate times based on what she tells me she wants to do, but which we did worked out beforehand.
All right.
And so when she wants a bit of musical interlude or whatever, that's provided by me, the bard.
So
and then you can probably play with the torches and stuff like that, can't you? You can. Do you have any cantrips or anything like that that can?
I'm not a wizard.
I know you're not a wizard, but
Sorceress. I'm a sorceress spellcaster. Sorry, I spelljacked the sorceress spells, not the wizard's.
oh, you don't have any performance tricks. What kind of bard are you?
I have many performance things that I can do, but they don't involve magical effects at the moment. Just
so
being a very good performer.
So Shikan, I will offer you an option. I will either give Winter a straight +2 bonus.
Just give her a +2.
Oh, or you could roll. All right.
Backgrounding here, my bit is at the tavern after, where I'm going to go and entertain people. Right. So here I'm not being a full-blown entertainer. I'm just being a musician.
All right. So Winter, are you approaching this in terms of spilling out wisdom or making people feel included? So rolling on your wisdom or based on your charisma?
Oh, this would be charisma.
Okay. So let's have you make a charisma roll. And what do you think is the right background for this?
I'm going to use the Citadel Archivist,
Okay.
assuming that I'll have read some good sermons or rousing speeches that I could plagiarize to make this impressive.
Okay. Yeah, that sort of classic. Okay, I remember this. I know the formulation. All right, I can do that.
Exactly. Start off with this, move to this.
Okay. Let's have you make that roll.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Okay. And does that include the +2?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, so 20. So you will do a fairly compelling service. It is not a full house, but Dawn Sibin will come and Quiets will come, and there are maybe another 10 or 11 people that will show up, and they will listen closely, and they will be impressed, and you see them kind of looking around the temple with that kind of, oh gosh, why have we let this go to seed? Boy, we could be, this is a nice place. Why haven't we followed up on that? These people have forgotten what happened before, and now they see that it can be a place of contemplation, a place of worship, and you see that spirit kind of go around. You and Shikan will note two other odd people here that do arrive. One arrives right when the service comes, and another one kind of steps in a little bit later. The first one looks like he was maybe some kind of official, very plump, sort of well-fed. He kind of parks himself on a kind of a front bench and sits and listens. He's got a little wispy beard around his chin and balding head, and the mantle, the crown of hair around his head he's let grow long, but he's sort of well dressed, and he does kind of doze a couple of times, but the music and everything brings him back. The other person that you see come in is a tall fellow with almost greenish tinged hair. You know how algae can sometimes get on things and you get that kind of weird greenish look, or look like copper has gone green and tarnished. Mm-hmm. And he's dressed with some ritual garments, and you guess that is Mog of the Hours. And he kind of comes in part way through the service, and he stays at the back and he listens. So after that, after the service breaks up, after you've finished, people will come up and talk to you. What's your intent in this, Winter?
To be a good listener.
Okay.
The goal, as I said, with their fortune telling, I don't know how many of you have interacted with gypsies or fortune tellers, but so that they'll tell you certain lines, but they try and tell you what you want to hear often. And she'll sort of use that if they come up with questions about how to do something or what to do. She'll listen and then give them some good sound advice, but she's also trying to pull out more information about, say, the mine
Okay.
and what's been happening in the city.
So the sort of plumper man will push himself kind of forward during this, and will introduce himself, and he will say, "My name is Heron Cobbledock. I'm the sheriff under the auspices of Lord Wreckhavoc, the sheriff of the town. And you might be?"
I'm a servant of Valis Winterthorn.
Oh, lovely enchanté. If you
Charmed, I'm sure.
if you need anything while you're here, please come and see me. It's just so nice to have the temple cleaned up, more like a civilized place than the backwater that this place is.
It's quite a nice temple. It's a shame that it was let into disrepair.
Yes. I've often said to Lord Wreckhavoc that someone needed to come and repair and have this place fixed up.
Well, maybe now this will serve to stimulate that when people see that this could be a place of gathering.
Oh yes. Well, perhaps we could discuss that later in private.
And where would you propose we meet?
Oh well, I certainly have a household here in the city. Feel free to drop by.
Certainly, that's most generous of you.
And he will head on. You can see the rest of the villagers kind of give him a wide berth. What about you, Shakan? What are you doing during this?
I'm going to schmooze Mark of the Hours.
All right. You'll approach.
I was going to schmooze the one that Winter wasn't talking to.
Okay.
So it turned out the other way around than the one I thought it was going to work. So I'm going to catch him before he leaves and get a little information about him and what he does and what's going on. As much as I can.
Sure. You'll approach
I
him.
introduce myself. I butter him up, talking about all the kinds of interesting things, whether he liked the music.
Oh yeah, it was
service.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We had a bard. He came through here, man. Was it last summer? He stayed for a while, but he said it was too cold. And his lute strings kept breaking, so he didn't stay out here. Mm-hmm. So it's been a while. We got a couple of kids. They can play on the recorders, but that gets boring after a while, because you can only listen to so much recorder music. Yeah, how it is.
Yes, it's an interesting instrument, but there are many interesting instruments in this world. Mine is from the Spray Islands, which is where I'm from.
Oh, so you're like from a beach then?
Oh, there are many beaches where I come from.
Oh wow,
yes.
that must be pretty neat, and the water and all that stuff. It's
yes,
that's very
nice.
Cool. It's all
So
good.
yeah, I get him interested, and then where do you come from, Mark?
Okay. I'm gonna have you make a charisma check.
Of course. Let's see if I can roll properly. This time I've been rolling poorly. I'm plying him with tales of my homeland. Can't roll dice for shit today. Never mind.
He will listen, but he is clearly on something. He's a little high, a little out of it, and so kind of when you ask him questions, he's kind of a little vague, maybe not deliberately vague, but just because of the way he's talking and stuff. So you'll be a little annoyed with him after a bit.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. Winter, Shakan, I'm going to come back to you check with you again, but I want to do William and then Micah, okay?
No problem.
So, William, you'll hear the
Yep.
music, you'll hear the service go on. I assume you'll wait and watch and see people come down from the mine.
Yeah.
And then, how do you want to approach this?
Is there a not quite so obvious way to get to it where it would be least likely I'd be observed?
The other way that would involve kind of going off to the side and kind of climbing up the mountain to get up to that spot.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Falling down a mountain is not on my agenda.
Okay. So it's going to be kind of tricky to do this such that you kind of stay out of sight and keep yourself low going up the way. But it is getting dark, and of course, because of the nature of the mountains, the light does cut out a little sooner.
Okay.
So let's have you make that stealth check.
Rolls are not on our hyper. Oh, there we go.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you're pretty styling as you make your way up there. You're quiet. You get up to the top. You see that there are some tools and things out here at the front, and there also is clearly a watchman. And with your 24, how do you do a distraction?
Oh, it's the watchman inside the mine.
He's just
or
kind of
the-
inside the mouth of the mine, kind of sitting there, got a little fire going to keep his hands warm.
Oh, okay. Oop, crap. I will just knocking stuff over on my desk here.
Okay.
I'll just go around, kind of low, but just some kind of noise or anything that will get him over, and then I should be able to shadow walk past him.
Oh, okay. So a simple sound to draw his attention in one way, and then you can, and
Yeah.
you're a vapor. You move past him and into the mine, and there are probably some lanterns throughout here, and it actually does look like this used to be a bigger mine. You can see the sort of typical setup for that, but then it looks like there's a pathway that goes down and looks more well trod, and you will make
So
your
do
way.
they have cart rails or anything they would have used back then, like, or at least trotted out areas? So did it used to actually be a mine?
Yes, it did, because you can see the cut-ins, you can see
Right.
the reinforcement, you can see the spikes for hanging buckets and that kind of thing.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it was a particularly productive mine, but it does seem to have run its course. But that part of it is clearly not being used currently.
Okay.
And you will make your way down along what's clearly the common track, and there is kind of a really pungent, smoky odor that you'll
It's
hit.
a meth lab. They had a meth lab.
Yeah, this is Breaking Bad, the 13th
Yeah.
Age style. What you will come to is a pretty large room that it actually kind of is a big corridor. The tunnel that you walk out into is a room, and it's maybe 12 feet tall, so it kind of widens much taller than it's been. And the part of the room kind of continues around out of sight, kind of angles. But you will see that there are braziers here with all kinds of incense, and there are tables set up with different kinds of incense and looks like plants and things like that, and braziers for burning things. And there's actually kind of bellows, it looks like, to kind of circulate air. And you will see that one of the walls has been cleared. It's the one that you're kind of facing. And the rest of the stone is very natural. rocky, rough. There is a section here that looks like smooth worked stone, and it's weirdly kind of convex, a little bit out, and it looks like there's that they like put the various incense and smoke pots and things up by the wall, and because you can see kind of smoke stains and things, they clearly do that, and then they clean it. It's very weird. I am going to have you make a wisdom check for me here.
Is there anything that might help me with this?
Do you have any kind of supernatural skills? Anything magical that you would know?
Absolutely, 100%.
No.
Not really.
Okay.
Well, doesn't it depend what your burglar profile has been in the past?
Yeah, the burglar profile definitely wasn't stealing magic stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's have you just make a straight wisdom check here.
I don't even know how to make just a straight check without linking it to a skill. I don't know. I'll just roll a d20.
Okay.
Just roll D20.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not bad. What's your wisdom bonus?
+1, I think. Yeah, +1.
Okay.
So 17.
So 17 plus your level means a 9, right?
Yeah, so 19.
19. You will see that down at one corner, there's a weird sort of cut in, a weird shape there into the wall, and you see that there is a kind of silvery fluid that's sort of a big globule of it that's on the wall there.
Ooh,
and as
okay.
you're kind of watching, you'll see it gets just a little bit bigger, and it's almost like a bucket down below, and the bucket is clearly to catch that when it runs down.
Okay. Do they have a you said they've got braziers and stuff. Do they have like a pots or anything else that I could use to collect some of this without touching it?
Yeah, let's say you could get a little vial.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to collect some of it in a vial.
Okay.
Having no idea what it is, but also the smoke and the braziers and needing air ventilation, and there's obviously no one running the bellows right now. I'm not hanging out here.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then passing out halfway through.
Yeah, you are probably getting a little lightheaded in here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So I'm gonna get a little vial, take some of it,
Okay.
and then put it in my pack, and then leave.
All right. And I'm going to say with the 24 that you rolled before, you're able to get out and get back down with no problem. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Micah, what about you?
Well, I am entertaining Mr. Battles, so Mr. Gray Battles.
Okay.
So we I order food for us and see who all in the village is showing up to the tavern this evening, and being free enough with coin and those around me that kind of get a little party started, keeping things light and just kind of hearing their stories and see if I can get any more information about anything that's happening with mine, if anything that's any more information regarding the attacks,
Okay.
anything like that.
So this is sort of a general gossip gathering thing.
Right.
Okay. Let's have you make a charisma roll, because I know that Micah Greyhelm has a great charisma.
You will tell me now. So 1 second.
What's your appropriate skill for mingling?
Can I jump in just briefly?
Sure.
I'm going to be turning up at the tavern to entertain everyone shortly, so perhaps I could assist him in that role by when I'm there playing.
Well, how about this?
Or
Here's what I'll
That's
offer.
the sort of thing I just wanted to suggest, because I was going to do this sort of thing as the bard
Okay.
in a minute.
Are you going to want to do some information gathering on your own, or do you just want to be a support person in this?
Well, since Mike is already doing it and is already getting everyone well lubricated, I'm happy to support him.
Okay.
I
Rather
think
than being the chief information gatherer.
Okay.
I was
Oh.
going to try and pull the town in and get them all happy and entertained so that the tongues came a bit looser.
Okay.
And Mike is already working on that, so we're working together in a
Sure.
moment.
So now
Once I
this
turn-
time I am going to have you make a roll because you've done so well so far
This would be me. Or
for your
or
performance.
Mike is rolling, or am I
for
oh,
you,
Mike.
Shakan.
Micah, you could probably, if you've got a background that would suit it, you could probably use your constitution and just try and drink it out of them.
It's not bad.
Heavy drinker.
Okay, I'm entertaining, and I'm just going to use the party roll. Charisma,
Mm-hmm.
What's that, your
Okay.
DJ background?
Absolutely.
Master of the Revels.
There you go.
And I suppose I'm going to roll my.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Okay. So that'll be plus
I
2.
managed to get roll a very good roll this time. That's including everything.
Oh,
so
awesome.
that's,
So
first
John,
level.
I'm going to give you a plus 5.
Hey, I just rolled an 18.
Oh.
And my bonus of 0. That would be
Plus your level.
plus my level. So that's
That's
20. So 25. Yeah, I'm charming.
So
Yeah. Everyone's incredibly happy, and you're getting all the information you could desire, I'd imagine.
yeah, people are drinking. The ale is flowing. He maybe breaks out some of the beer that isn't quite as chunky, and people are just relieved that they don't have to listen to kids playing their recorders, and this great songs and Shakan, what kind of songs are you singing to these people?
Oh, all the popular songs I know, as well as songs from my homeland, which tend to be very entertaining, to say the least.
What do you suppose is the most popular local song?
Oh, up here, it's a very good. I'm not terribly up on popular music myself. It's a actual a dance number that happens to have a very entertaining lyric about people who are in love and the troubles and things they go through that all end entertainingly and that kind of thing.
Okay, so
And,
the
I'm
classic,
quite happy to play that.
classic energetic
it's-
love story song. The
Yes.
trials and tribulations of the
course.
suitors gone awry. Okay.
Absolutely. That's the most popular local song that I know of in the area for this part of the world.
Rework it for a couple of local places and things. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, John, you are lubricating people. How do you present yourself?
As the common man, I'm a soldier. I'm not anything special. I'm the son of a blacksmith. I will start telling stories about how my dad was, this blacksmith, and all he wanted us to do every day is carry iron, and just kind of knowing that there's mine about, not knowing anything, just kind of, that's how I'm kind of getting into the mine thing, it's just saying, yeah, I understand, how miners are, you have to carry buckets of rocks everywhere. Well, I'm a son of a blacksmith, so he had me hauling coal and hauling iron nuggets and everything else around the place, and yeah, that really sucked, but
So
got through it.
let me stop you there. I'm going to give you some pieces of information. I'm going to get some scattered pieces that you'll pick up throughout the course of this. You and Shakan, who's listening, will get. One of the things is you've heard a name mentioned before, the Orendark. They mention as one of the barbarian families that lives out in the thing, and very clearly they are sort of the local people don't like them, they don't like the town kind of thing, and apparently that's old bad blood, and that they're kind of nasty, but people haven't seen much of them of late, and so there's some relief about that. So that's one sort of detail that you'll get there. when people talk about the mine, when you kind of talk about that, clearly they're reminiscing about how the mine used to be that way. That we used to work in the mines, kind of thing. Have the sense that maybe changed, maybe a generation ago. The older people will talk about their experiences in that, but what's very clear is that whatever is produced by the mine is kind of the wealth from that gets distributed out in the town, and that's probably what the caravaneer was carrying, because he just had one horse with bags on it. So whatever it is must be pretty valuable. But again, they try not to talk with outsiders about this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You also get the sense that they probably don't. That there's some suspicion about full mages, wizards, and sorcerers, and that kind of thing. And the sense that you get is that whatever the mine produces is something that those wizards, the sorcerers, would want, and so they kind of keep their lips shut about that. Let me think what else would be another bit. They will mention that if the bandits are out, if there are bandits around in the area, a couple of people think that they might be at a place that is called the Tangle. It's a weird area that used to be for safety. That essentially the locals, if they had to go and retreat against an attack, they would go there. This is a weird twisting set of stone causeways to get to it and some caves, but that a rock slide a while ago cut that off, and so people don't use it anymore. But some people say, yeah, if we were bandits, that's where we would set up.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Is that good sense of information for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Lovely.
And Winter, what about you?
In what sense? You mean after the service?
After the service, are you going to the tavern as well, or?
I was going to dig through the books.
Oh, okay.
If you remember.
Let me have you make then a archivist intelligence roll.
Okay. So I could figure out which are the best books to look at. Mm-hmm. Not going to happen.
So you will start going through these, peeling through these tonight, but the hour will get very late, and you found that you've only gotten through maybe a quarter of these. Some of them are written in kind of an old temple cant, and some of them are written in shorthand, so it's taking longer than you would want. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
Okay. And Tallfoot Ice, will you head back to the house, or will you go to the tavern when you're done?
I'll go to the tavern. I know everybody's going to be there.
Okay. So probably when the hour gets very late, the innkeep will ring the bell, and he will actually come over and he will hand you coins. He essentially gives you the barred share for the evening, and thanks you, and we'll say you are always welcome here, Master Bronze.
I am going to take the opportunity to close the evening's entertainment with the Imperial Anthem.
Oh, okay.
Which is my balladeer, which lets me use one of my talents.
Okay.
Because, as in, it's the last song, and so I'm going to play the national anthem of the Dragon Empire.
Okay.
I've been saving up for that. I'm going, I get to use this.
And is that an effect that creates? Is that a roll? How does that work?
Absolutely. Balladeer. You learn one of the following songs of choice at each level, and I have so far learned the Imperial Anthem
Okay.
and A Round for the Prince of Shadows, which is not the one I'm going to do.
Okay, good call.
I
It's
would shoot for that.
ideally you sing this out of combat to an appreciative audience, which I have
Oh,
quite
yes.
handily created. So I am doing the story. This is the full-blown Imperial Anthem, and I'm going to make a charisma skill check using my best singing and musical background.
Okay.
If I succeed, I get 2 positive points of relationship with that icon until the next full heal up.
Okay.
I am rolling against DC 15. And I have the feat, which means that if I use these relationship points, any 5s I roll become 6s, and I get a
Ooh.
+2 bonus.
All right. Excellent. Let's see your roll.
So I'm going to roll. Hopefully, I won't screw this one up and roll.
You can get
one.
cursed dice.
Okay. No. What happens is when I complement it. So this is going to be
Oh,
2
that's
extra
right.
dice with the Emperor, but I'm also going to get dice with the opponents, which are the High Druid, Lich King, or Orc Lord, and I'm going to let you pick which ones they are.
Okay. I know which one it is.
So you get cursed dice, and you automatically get cursed dice, the same number of cursed dice as you get positive dice.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. I'm rolling charisma with +2 on top of the number I roll, and I'm trying to go for a DC 15.
Yes.
Apparently. Let's see what we get. Well, I rolled a 13, which means I didn't get the DC 15 because I'm rolling really badly for most of my rolls tonight because of the random number generator. Darn!
It is.
Never mind.
It is against you. So you will.
That's true. So I don't get my positive relationship. The song that I play the song or the national anthem, and there you go. So at least one of those were being put down. So it would have been the verse that is against the icon that you've chosen.
All right. So it is. You get the sense that these people haven't heard this. That it's a strange song, and you go to sing it, and close it out, and it clearly means something to you. So they do listen along, but they're like, okay, that was weird, but now they clearly have heard it, so they will kind of acknowledge that, and at least one of them probably. Don Sibbin will come and say, "What was that? That's not a song I know."
Really? That's the anthem. That's the Imperial Anthem.
Oh. Oh.
It's the song sung in honor of the Emperor.
And she says, "Well, perhaps before you leave, you will teach us this."
I could do that. Yes.
And she seems kind of intent on that. Since you have spoken about the Emperor in glowing terms, and she seems very excited by the idea that the Emperor's attention is here, that seems to be important to her.
Cool.
So
there you go.
I'm going to wipe essentially to you four gathered back at the house that you're staying at, and so you can trade information or talk or whatnot.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna show everybody, as long as we're in private, I'm gonna show everybody this silver gunk and see if anybody knows what it might be.
Okay. Does anyone?
And I'll explain.
Yeah.
I'll explain everything, like what I saw when I got it, what was coming out of the wall, the big concave, whatever, in graphic detail with absolutely no context that I have any idea what it might be.
Okay. So, do any of you have any kind of background related to magical or alchemical lore?
I have no backgrounds in it. I have Jack of Spells.
Okay. I will allow you to make just a straight intelligence plus level roll.
Well, I'm a sorcerer, not a wizard.
Oh, so that uses charisma, right? That's right.
Yeah.
So straight charisma plus level, that is to your advantage.
Okay. Plus.
As the son of a blacksmith, I say that's freakish.
That's all you need to know, right?
That's not right.
That's just not right.
Okay. Plus charisma bonus plus level is going to be. Yep. It's going to be a d20 plus 4. Ah! And of course, I can't roll dice tonight. There you go.
So it is magical, and it's unusual. It's not anything you've ever seen. There's a certain potency to it, and in fact, just the sort of the waft and the weave of magic that comes off of it. You kind of don't want to mess with it too much in the state that it's in. It seems very potent.
I'm going to put the lid back on, seal it up.
Darling, before you do that, may I have a look at it?
Absolutely.
And I'll use my Citadel Archivist, and I'll use what I forgot to use, which I should have used in the temple, and that
Okay.
is even if I botch this, I can make it a natural 20.
Ooh,
Invocation.
that's right. You've got
Yeah.
the knowledge.
The knowledge invocation, although for some reason the roll doesn't seem to be going. It's funny, it shows the button click. Let's try it again. There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Do I even need a 20?
We'll assume that you can do that just because you want to get potency. This is a kind of deep blood of the earth, a significant naturally attuned, earth attuned magical elixir. It's a potent additive to various potions. It's used for all kinds of magical, very rare magical preparations. Most people use bastardized versions of this. To actually have this would certainly raise up the potency and value of any kind of magical preparation. So this is quite valuable and very rare. But how they're getting it, that you've never heard of that before.
Oh, you mean as in I've never heard of where it comes from or how you mine it?
You know that it's like a chemical preparation that requires bringing together various substances or going down and doing ritual invocations or working with earth elementals or that kind of thing. The fact that they're actually getting it as they are, that's not something you've heard of.
Okay.
Especially because there doesn't seem to be any kind of wizard or alchemist or anything like that around here.
Okay. Oh. So I relay all that to the group. Darling, this is very rare. Very interesting. This is deep blood of the earth. It's certainly, and very expensive. It certainly explains the fortune of this city.
It's freakish.
Thank you.
I'm with him.
And that
Freakish.
too.
There you go.
Is that as in freakish we should burn it and destroy it?
Is
I'm
there
not
any
burning
other
it.
option?
Oh, that's the
Well-
Crusader training coming out.
Freakish,
Sounds
but
like it.
as soon as the word valuable came out, the idea of destroying it went poof right out of my mind.
Just a little bit that he has is probably worth a chunk of money.
Oh.
So, anything you guys else are going to do tonight, or shall I cut forward to the morning?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Don't think I've got any plans. No.
I am actually going to, I think, if you guys don't mind, cut this a little short here. So we can start out with the travel to the estate, and that way we'll have Irindel with us next time. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds perfectly sensible to me.
So is our assumption that Arundel was just in her cups all night, and that's
yes.
She was indisposed.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I will not be available next Saturday.
Okay. So we will miss you on that. We'll play on the 19th, assuming that we have 4 for that. We won't be playing on the 26th, just to tell you guys ahead of time on that schedule.
okay.
Because I will be indisposed on that night. You guys could play, but I won't be here. So.
We win.
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say we're just gonna win if we do that. We all leveled up 3 times.
I think I'm going to give you guys an incremental advance for today.
Oh, okay. Good.
That seem reasonable.
Sure.
And in fact, actually, as a generous thing, I think I will allow, given the work that you've done, the way you've made the town comfortable, and so on, that you guys can essentially effectively have a full rest.
Excellent.
Micah greatly appreciates that.
Yes. Any questions? Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we'll start out next time right away with Grey Battle taking you on the journey out to the estate that they lost contact with, and we'll proceed on from there.
Lovely.
Oh, wait. Actually, Lowell, I do have one thing.
Sure.
Okay, I was looking at my cunning talent, and I guess I get 2, or cunning background. I guess I get 2 free background points for knowledge-based stuff.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what you call it, but basically it would be like a. I wanted to see if I could take 2 points in something that would be like an auction connoisseur, something that would basically give me a background and just having an arbitrary idea of what things are worth.
Okay, so like item assessment or assess
Yeah, item
value?
assessment or something like that. But I couldn't think of a job that.
You're a fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fence.
Fence.
Or at least I know, as hanging out with fences, I have a decent idea of what things are worth that are beyond just, yeah, that's a nice gem. I mean, more than just gems, random crap that you might try to.
Yeah, I think fence is a great way to put that, because it kind of gives you a more broad approach, just beyond just assess value. Does that seem reasonable?
Sounds good to me.
That was a great idea. Was that you, Shakan?
No.
Who said?
I didn't say it.
Who said
was
fence?
Winter.
Oh, Winter. Okay,
Kristen.
yeah, that's great.
Cool. So
All right.
I'm gonna just add a 2-point background for fence.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to say goodbye.
Catch you next week.